This is my LinkedIn live streaming series. We have a saying in Chinese. For the people who's first time watching this, my name is xiāng. You can call me xiāo-yu. It means sunshine in the morning in Chinese. And I'm originally from China, now living in Germany. So professionally, I work as leadership and intercultural transition coach and business consultant. I work with professional individuals and business owners who are in the process of considering transiting their career or business into a new area or a new phase. And I am here to support you in making conscious and efficient choices among the exciting opportunities while thriving in a multicultural environment. Come back to our series today. We have a saying in Chinese. So every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Europe time, I come live here on LinkedIn to share a Chinese saying together with some culture and the wisdom behind, but also some of my personal reflections or thoughts around the Chinese saying. And the last but the most important thing is, if you would love to come in here to share your favorite Chinese saying and how it inspired you, I would love to hear from you, and let's talk. You know, you're super welcome to join me as a guest speaker. And you could also check out my previous episode where I have Dan joined me to share his Chinese saying and the stories. So we'd love to hear from you. All right, then let's get started. And today, our Chinese saying I want to share with you is 酒香不怕巷子深. So this is a saying, maybe not from 1,000 years ago, like some of the saying I shared in previous episode. This one's from older generation, probably my parents or my grandparents' generation. Literal translation is, if your wine or your liquor is strong, has very strong smell or smell really nice, you don't have to worry about if your shop is open in the deep back alley, because people will find you through the, they follow the smell, they will come to you, your customer will come to you, they will find you. So 酒, here you see the character 酒 is alcohol or liquor. 香 is fragrant, nice smell. 不怕, not afraid of. 巷子 is a way, one of the ways to call the small street or the small alleys. If you have been to Beijing, you know, like the hutong we can call that 巷子. And the shen means deep. Here we can understand it as like in the back alley, back in the corner. 酒香不怕巷子深. With this saying, in the past, people usually use this one to describe if your product is good enough, it's very good, it will speak for itself. So you don't have to try to sell your product. Your customer will come to you. So traditionally, it is because many local business, they are focused on serve their local customers, right, in the neighborhood or in the area. So most of the so-called marketing or sales are just via the word of mouth. And how about nowadays? When I think about this saying, I was thinking, is that still applying in this modern time when we have all this social media, right? Like now I'm on LinkedIn Live. There are people from different parts of the different corners of the world are watching this. So with the social media, with the internet, and also with the development of the transportation, logistics, the speed and the depth of the information access and how we can provide our product or service are developing all the time. So back to the question, is that still applying the Chinese saying, 这酒香不怕巷子深? I will leave it to you. What do you think? And today, I especially want to talk about personal branding. Different from the large-scale business or corporate or organizations, the personal branding is more focused on individual or their relatively independent or, let's say, simple service or product, right? And today, I especially want to talk about for freelancers or self-employed professionals and the small business owners. So their product could be something tangible, like a physical product, or could be something intangible, like a service. And for sure, their business model, their profit model would be different from the large-scale corporate. And today we will talk about personal branding. What is personal branding? And how to define your personal branding message, and some to-dos and some not to-dos. Hopefully I can hear from you. What do you think, or how you are doing with your personal branding, or how you resonate with this Chinese saying? So what is personal branding? It is an awareness. It is an identity about who you are and what's behind your business, what's underneath the business, the value, the mission, the purpose. So when we talk about defining your own personal branding, that you feel aligned, this is very important. To explore what speaks to you is the very first step when it comes to personal branding. And the good news here is you have the freedom. You have the freedom, you have the voice, you have all the power to define your own personal branding, because it's very personal. It's different from when you work in a team or corporate. It is just belongs to you, right? And sometimes we may get confused though, because when we try to define the personal branding message or values, sometimes when people tend to follow the popularity or try to follow the trend, right? What's the other people in my industry or people doing similar things as me, how they presenting themselves? When we try to follow that trend, or when we try to just simply follow the money, right? How I package myself, how I present myself, so I get more faster result. I can get more direct sales, I can get more income. But when we start focusing on those while defining our own personal branding, we may get confused, we may get lost, and we may get distracted, especially when it comes to long term. Because the personal branding, it's about let the truth, your authenticity speaks loud and proud here. So the core of the personal branding, we can see it as like a mission statement. It does not change over the time. It is something ultimate. However, by saying this, I'm not saying it will never change, right? The core of your personal branding, it continues evolves and develops through the time, because we as a person, we evolve all the time. So that's the first point about what is personal branding, right? It is the awareness, it is the identity, it is the message, the core, the underneath. And the second thing I want to talk about is the personal branding. It is a communication. Through your presence, you are delivering a message, you are building an image or an impression, and you are trying to creating influences on your target audience. So when we think about it, it may seem like you are just one direction, feeding the information, presenting yourself, showing your product, your service, how professional or value, what kind of value you can bring to the people. But actually, this is two direction, two sides conversation. What do we want to tell people about you or your service or your product, and how they receive it? So maybe you are trying to tell people the A, but maybe people receive it as a B, right? Or maybe they receive it as A minus or A plus. You see, this is a two-side engagement conversation when it's come to sharing, spreading the word out about your own, presenting your personal branding. So for example, how people are engaging with you, how are they responding to your CTA, the call to action, how it's impacting your business in short term and the long term. These are the metrics to measure the efficiency of this communication. And earlier I said, the core of the personal branding doesn't change, or this doesn't change very easily. But when it's come to this container, the carrier, which is the communication, you could be flexible, you could be adaptive, you could change over time, because there's no right or wrong way to communicate. There's no perfect or imperfect way. It's about what is the right way that works for you and your target audience. The suggestion I always give people when it comes to this is be brave to go out there, to try to experiment different kind of approaches, right? Storytelling, content marketing, community, build your community, use social media, etc. There are so many plenty ways when it comes to the container, because what matters the most is the core. You stay with the core, the center, the essence of your personal branding. And the communication is like you create this buffer zone. So you can reach out, you can connect, have even a deep level connection with your target audience. So that's the second point. And the last point about personal branding is about walk the talk and talk the walk. So the personal branding is more than just a concept or a logo or a slogan. You put it there on your website or something, and that's it. It does not stop there. It is in the DNA of your business. So imagine from your business strategy building to your product design or to your service portfolio, how you want to bring the value, deliver the value, to your business model, financial model, how you engage with your customers or your business partners, marketing, sales, even how you show up in a meeting or how you shake hands with people, even comes to how you talk about everything. That's exactly what I mean about the personal branding through the presence, because it is everywhere in every moment, with or without other people around you, with or without even you being present or not. So this is about the personal branding. And as I always emphasizing with people I work with, also I encounter, the importance of this personal branding, because people may think, if I have a big business, I want to, think about marketing and connect to branding and everything. But what if it's just my own small business, just one person business? It matters, because even you are just starting out, even you just your own small one person business, still the personal branding, the process you explore and define your personal branding is a part of the foundation of a sustainable business. So also you prepare yourself for the continuous growth in the future. And even potentially, if one day you want to scale up your business, this personal branding information could be one day developed into something like the company culture, for example, right? So with that, that's about the personal branding. And let me see if we have any questions or comments. Yeah, so I see here Nicholas. Nicholas said, what do you think could be the biggest challenge when trying to define your own personal branding? That's a good question. Thank you, Nicholas. So the biggest challenge, I don't know if it's the biggest one, because it's really varies different among different people. But one thing I've observed or I was saying is, as I mentioned, when you are exploring exactly the core, the essence of your personal branding, we have all these voices around us, right? You want to be successful, you see someone, hope one day I could be successful like that person. So how that person is presenting him or herself. And also, so sometimes also the social media or the social standard showing us what could be the successful or easy way or the shortcut. So when we think about there's something so relatively easy or something proven it works, it's because someone got success with that personal branding image message. It's like within your reach, right? It's very tempting. So we got distracted by those outer external voices, and we forgot to look inside, to really listen to ourselves, to check in if that message also we find it aligned. Because that's the very beginning when you do your personal branding, but later on when you put it into action, when you carry out all these strategies, you will be the one to carry on everything to really have this personal branding through your presence. So if it's something you don't find it aligned with you, in the future, in long term, you start having this conflict or uncomfortability, right? You don't feel comfortable to do what you think, to do what you're supposed to do, because that's not the thing you truly passionate or wanted to do. So I think that's the thing. But still, as I always say, it is important to have open mind, to have the beginner mind, to learn from people around you, to learn from the other people's successful story, or learn from other people's failure, other people's lesson, your own lesson, your past. But don't let all these things create the limiting belief or assumption when it's come to you to define your own message, your own personal branding, because that's the foundation. And it matters, and the time will test out. Like later on, when you continue carry on everything around your personal branding, you will realize, oh, is that something really speaks to me or not, right? So I hope that answered your question, Nicholas. And if anyone else you would love to share, what do you think about this question? I would love to see what you think. Awesome. So come to the end, just a quick summary here. We talk about personal branding today. So what could be the steps, or what could be something even you can start doing from today, right? Maybe you are doing the transition, want to start your own business, or maybe you are a seasoned freelancer, but thinking about, actually, I never thought about personal branding, right? So what can we do? How can we get started? So the first step is to start with self-exploration, to look inside, to find out what speaks to you, exactly like how I answered the question to Nicholas. And the second step is to do the strategy planning from a business perspective. There are plenty powerful tools online. You can always find them. I'm happy to have a chat about those too. Use the tools like the client's avatar, for example, and also do your market research to truly understand your target audience. And then to do the experiment, to try out different way of communications with this target audience, right? And the third step is walk the talk, to build it into a habit. For sure, it takes time. It takes some learning curves. And to be honest, it is not something, personal branding is not something that come with a guaranteed overnight success. But if the very first step, the personal branding value, the core, the essence you defined, if it truly speaks to you, although it is a very intentional action, it should be effortless, because you'll be in the flow, right? You enjoy doing this. You are doing something you feel comfortable and aligned. So that's the third step, to walk the talk, to take action. And the last step, also very important, is to hold yourself accountable. Be consistent with this. Just like Woody Allen said, 80% of the success is about showing up. Because personal branding, it's a process work. It is something you will discover, find it how empowering it is, how powerful it is, even how it could support your business growth through the time, but not just over one time, or over 1 week or 1 day something. So with that, also bring us to the end of my sharing today about the personal branding. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see. Thank you, Nicholas. Great answer. Yeah. So that's the saying for today. I hope you like it. And thank you for joining me for my LinkedIn Live series. We have a saying in Chinese. So every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Europe time, I will come up live here. And also, if you cannot make it on time, also make sure you sign up the events. We are going to have the playback available afterwards.